My entitled neighbor claimed my backyard as his own, started building a fence through my property, and when I confronted him, he called the cops saying I was trespassing on his land. Now he's suing me and turning my whole neighborhood against me. Hey everyone, let's dive into a wild story that's been my life for the past few months. I'm a 28-year-old guy who, after saving up for what felt like an eternity, finally bought my first house 2 years ago. It's nothing fancy, just a small 2-bedroom fixer-upper in a quiet suburban neighborhood. You know, the kind of place where folks wave hello but generally keep to themselves. Or so I thought. I've been living here alone, working from home as a graphic designer, and honestly, this house has been my little sanctuary. Last spring, I planted a garden. Over the summer, I built a deck with my own 2 hands. I even adopted a dog named Max to keep me company. Life was good. Until my neighbor, who I'll call Dave, a guy in his 50s, decided he had some kind of divine right to my property. It all started innocently enough. Dave lives in the house right next to mine, with just a chain-link fence separating us, a fence that's been there since before I moved in. He's a burly guy, always parking his pickup truck half on the sidewalk, and he's got a wife and 2 teenage kids who seem normal enough. At first, we got along fine. I'd nod hello when I saw him mowing his lawn, and once, he even borrowed my hedge trimmer without asking but returned it the next day with a casual, "Thanks, buddy. No big deal, right?" But then, about 6 months ago, things got weird. I came home from a grocery run one day and saw Dave in my backyard, measuring the ground with a tape measure. Max was barking like crazy from inside the house, so I stepped out onto my deck and called out, "Hey Dave, everything okay?" Trying to keep things friendly. He looked up, sweaty and red-faced, and grinned like he'd just hit the jackpot. "Oh, hey there, kid. Just checking the property lines. You know, I think this fence is off by a few feet. My granddad built the original house back in the 70s, and he always said the line went right through here." He pointed to a spot about 5 feet into my yard, right where I'd planted my tomato garden. I laughed it off at first, thinking he was joking. No way, man. I had a survey done when I bought the place. The fence is exactly on the line. I even pulled out my phone to show him the digital copy of the survey from my real estate agent. Clear as day, the property line matched the fence. But Dave just shook his head, chuckling like I was some naive kid. "Surveys can be wrong, you know. My family's been here longer than you've been alive. I'll get it sorted." Then he packed up his tape measure and hopped back over the fence like nothing had happened. I didn't think much of it. Until the next weekend, I woke up to the sound of hammering and looked out my window to see Dave and his son digging post holes in my yard. They were starting to build a new wooden fence that cut straight through my garden, enclosing about a quarter of my backyard into what would be an extension of his property. Max was going nuts, and I stormed outside in my pajamas, heart pounding. "What the hell are you doing, Dave? This is my property," I yelled, trying not to lose it completely. He turned around, hammer in hand, and gave me this smug look. "Calm down, son. Like I said, this is my land. I checked the old deeds at the county office. Your survey's probably outdated. I'm just correcting the mistake." I was floored. Outdated? I bought this house 2 years ago. The survey is from then. Get off my lawn, or I'm calling the cops. His wife, Karen, yeah, fitting name, poked her head over from their side of the fence. "Oh, come on, don't be so dramatic. We've needed more space for the kids' playset. You're single, no family, what do you even need all this yard for? Be a good neighbor and let it go." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They were acting like my backyard was community property just because I didn't have kids or a wife. I grabbed my phone and dialed the non-emergency police line right there. 2 officers showed up about 20 minutes later, and I explained the situation, showing them my survey and deed. Dave put on this whole innocent act. "Officers, this young man is new here. He doesn't understand the history. My family owns this strip, it's been that way for decades." The cops looked at my documents, then at his. He pulled out some crumpled old paper that looked like it was from the Stone Age, and told him to stop building until it was resolved legally. They made him take down the posts he'd already put up and warned us both to keep the peace. Dave grumbled the whole time, shooting me dirty looks like I'd stolen something from him. After they left, he cornered me by the fence. "You think you're hot stuff, calling the cops on a neighbor? This isn't over. You'll regret this." His face was beet red, and for a second, I thought he might take a swing at me. I just backed away, went inside, and locked the doors. That was the original incident, but things escalated fast. Over the next few weeks, Dave started spreading rumors around the neighborhood. I heard from another neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins across the street, that he was telling everyone I was a greedy outsider trying to steal land from a long-time resident. Suddenly, people who used to wave stopped. At the neighborhood barbecue last month, a couple of guys pulled me aside and said, "Hey, man, why not just give Dave the strip? He's got kids, you know." I tried to explain, but they just shrugged. Family first, right? You're young, you'll get over it. Then came the petty stuff. Dave started leaving his trash cans on my side of the driveway, blasting loud music at night aimed right at my bedroom window, and even letting his dog crap in my yard without picking it up. I confronted him once, saying, "Dave, this is ridiculous. Let's just get a professional surveyor and split the cost." He laughed in my face. "Split the cost? You're the one causing problems. Pay for it yourself if you want proof you're wrong." I ended up hiring a surveyor on my own. It cost me $800, but it confirmed my original survey. The line was exactly where the fence stood. I showed Dave the report, thinking that it ended. Nope. He tore it up right in front of me. Fake news. I know my rights. That's when he sued me. Yeah, you heard that right. A week later, I got served papers claiming adverse possession or some nonsense, saying his family had been using that strip of land for years, so it was legally his. He wanted the court to redraw the property lines and make me pay for damages to his fence project. I'm not rich, folks. This is stressing me out big time. I've got a lawyer now, but it's eating into my savings. And the neighborhood? Half of them are on his side because he's been here forever and spins this story about me being the bad guy. Even my dog Max is anxious now, barking at every little noise. Am I the asshole for not just giving him the land to keep the peace? Or should I fight this tooth and nail? I feel like I'm losing my mind over a few feet of grass. Update 1. Wow, this story blew up. Thanks for all the advice, everyone. A lot of you said to document everything, so I've been keeping a detailed log of all the incidents, the trash, the music, the dog poop. I even set up a security camera on my deck facing the backyard. My lawyer says Dave's lawsuit is weak since adverse possession requires 10 to 20 years of continuous use, and Dave can't prove that. But he warned me these things can drag on. Here's an update on the neighborhood drama. I talked to Mrs. Jenkins again, and she admitted Dave has been going door to door with his old deed, convincing people I'm trying to gentrify the area or something. One guy even stopped me while I was walking Max and said, "You know, Dave's a veteran. Show some respect." Is he? I have no idea, but now I feel like the villain. Last night, things got even weirder. I heard noises outside around 2 a.m. Max went ballistic, and when I checked the camera footage this morning, there was Dave, sneaking into my yard with a shovel. He was digging up my tomato plants. By the time I reviewed it, the damage was done, half my garden was ruined. I called the cops again, showed them the video, and they went over to talk to him. Dave denied it at first, but when they mentioned the camera, he changed his tune. I was just checking for weeds. It's my land anyway. The officers cited him for trespassing and vandalism, but he just smirked and said, "See you in court, kid." My lawyers adding this to the countersuit were filing for harassment and property damage. But honestly, I'm exhausted. I love this house, but part of me wonders if it's worth it. Work's suffering because I can't focus, and Max is stressed too. Has anyone dealt with a neighbor like this? How do I protect myself without escalating things further? Update 2. Okay, everyone, you were right, this is escalating way beyond a fence dispute. After the vandalism citation, Dave went quiet for a couple of days, which was pure bliss. I thought maybe he'd backed off. I was wrong. Yesterday, I came home to find a for sale sign in my front yard. Not mine, some cheap plastic thing from a dollar store, with a note taped to it, "Time to move, thief." I yanked it out and tossed it, but then I noticed my mailbox was stuffed with flyers. They were printed ads saying, "Beware, squatter living at," my address. Stealing land from veterans. Contact Dave for details. What the actual hell? He even included his phone number. I called my lawyer immediately, and he said this could be libel. We're adding it to the suit. But it gets worse. That evening, a group of neighbors showed up at my door, 5 of them, including Dave's buddy from down the street. They rang the bell, and when I answered with Max by my side, the leader guy said, "Look, we're here as a community. Dave's explained everything. Why not just compromise? Give him the strip, and we'll all chip in for your new plants." I was shaking, trying to stay calm. Compromise? He's vandalizing my property and spreading lies. This is my home. Dave's buddy shrugged. He's got history here. You're new. Be reasonable. One of the women piped up, think about the kids. Dave wants to put in a swing set for his grandkids someday. You don't even use the space. I shut the door in their faces, heart racing. I locked everything and called the cops for a report, just in case. They said it was civil but noted it down. Now I'm paranoid. I've installed more cameras, including one on the front porch. Max sleeps by the door now. My lawyer's pushing for a restraining order, but Dave's countersuing for emotional distress, claiming I'm harassing him with all these police calls. I'm starting to feel isolated. A few neighbors have texted support secretly, saying Dave's always been a bully, but they're afraid to speak up publicly. One even said he did something similar to the previous owner of my house, but they moved away instead of fighting. I confronted Dave this morning over the fence, from a safe distance. Why are you doing this? It's just land. We can resolve it in court. He leaned in, eyes narrowing. Because it's mine, and punks like you think you can waltz in and take what's not yours. I'll make sure you leave one way or another. That gave me chills. Is this guy dangerous? Should I get a gun or something? I live in a state where it's legal, but I've never owned one. Am I the asshole for not backing down, or am I poking a bear? Update 3. Holy crap, things just took a dark turn. Thanks for all the messages urging me to be careful, you were spot on. Last night, I was up late working when Max started growling at the back door. I checked the camera app on my phone, and there was a figure in a hoodie creeping along the fence line. They had something in their hand, looked like a can or bottle. Before I could react, I heard glass shatter, and flames whooshed up on my deck. I grabbed the fire extinguisher and ran out, yelling. The fire was small, they'd thrown a Molotov cocktail or something homemade at my deck chairs, but it scorched the wood and singed some plants. Max was barking wildly, and I put it out quick, then called 911. The fire department and police arrived within minutes. They took my statement and reviewed the footage, which clearly showed the person lighting and throwing the object, but the hoodie hid their face. Guess who it looked like build-wise? Dave. Same height, same bulky frame. While the cops were there, Dave's lights came on next door, and he wandered out, all innocent. What's going on? I heard sirens. The officer asked if he'd seen anything. Nope, was asleep. That kid's probably causing trouble again. I exploded. It was you. The camera shows it. He just smiled. Prove it. Could be anyone upset about your land grab. The cops took him in for questioning since the footage was suspicious and we have ongoing disputes, but they released him after a few hours, not enough evidence for an arrest yet. My lawyer's on it, saying this could be attempted arson, which is a felony. But now I'm terrified. The deck is damaged, insurance will cover it, but what if next time it's inside the house? Or while I'm asleep? I've got a friend crashing on my couch tonight for safety, and I'm looking into temporary rentals, but I don't want to leave my home. The neighborhood's divided, some are horrified and reaching out, others are saying I provoked him by suing. I even got an anonymous note in my mailbox, back off or it'll get worse. What do I do? Fight or flee? This neighbor's turned my dream home into a nightmare. Update 4. It's been a rough 48 hours. Police forensics came back on the Molotov remnants, fingerprints were smudged, but they found a partial match to Dave's son, the teenager who helped with the fence. Turns out the kid's 17, so it's juvenile stuff, but Dave's being investigated for conspiracy or something. They raided his house this morning, and from what my lawyer heard, they found materials for making more firebombs in his garage. Dave's wife showed up at my door crying while the raid was happening. Please, drop the charges. It's all a misunderstanding. Dave stressed about the lawsuit, he didn't mean it. I recorded the whole thing on my phone. Misunderstanding? He tried to burn my house down. Tell that to the cops. She begged, think of our kids. You'll ruin their lives. Your husband ruined mine first, I said, and closed the door. Now Dave's been arrested for attempted arson and endangerment. Bail hearing is tomorrow. My lawyer says with the evidence piling up, his lawsuit's toast, and I can counter for big damages, emotional distress, property repair, even punitive. But here's the cliffhanger, while all this was going down, I got a call from an unknown number. It was a distorted voice. You think this ends with Dave? We've got your back, neighbor. Watch yours. Then they hung up. Who the hell was that? One of his buddies? The neighborhood group? I'm armed now, got a permit and a handgun, trained at the range today, doors are barred, but I can't shake the feeling this isn't over. Max is on high alert, and I'm not sleeping. What now? Update 5. Alright, everyone, buckle up because this nightmare just leveled up in ways I never saw coming. After that creepy phone call, I didn't sleep a wink. My friend stayed over, and we took turns keeping watch like we were in some bad thriller movie. I reported the call to the police right away. They traced it to a burner phone bought at a gas station a few miles away, but no leads yet. They upped patrols around my house, which helped a bit, but I still felt like a sitting duck. The next morning, Dave's bail hearing happened. My lawyer was there and texted me updates. Dave's wife was in the courtroom, sobbing the whole time, begging the judge for leniency because he's a family man who's just protective of his property. The judge wasn't buying it, with the evidence from the raid, including gasoline cans, rags, and even instructions printed from some shady online forum on homemade deterrents, plus the camera footage and the partial print from his son. Bail was set high at $50,000. Dave couldn't post it immediately, so he's sitting in jail for now. His son got picked up too for questioning, and from what I hear, the kid cracked under pressure and admitted Dave put him up to the firebomb. He said his dad told him it was just to scare the new guy off our land. I thought that might be the end, but nope. That afternoon, while I was at the hardware store picking up more security stuff, motion lights, reinforced locks, the works, I got a frantic call from Mrs. Jenkins, the nice neighbor across the street. "You need to get home now. There's a crowd outside your house." I raced back, heart in my throat, and sure enough, there were about a dozen people gathered in my front yard. Some I recognized, Dave's buddies from the earlier confrontation, a couple of other longtime residents, even one of the guys from the barbecue who'd told me to compromise. They had signs, handwritten crap like "support local families, not greedy outsiders, and Dave's land equals Dave's right." They were chanting something about neighborhood justice and blocking my driveway. Max was inside going berserk, and my friend was peeking out the window, phone in hand, recording everything. I pulled up, honked, and yelled, "Get off my property. This is trespassing." The leader, Dave's buddy, let's call him Mike, stepped forward with a smirk. "We're just exercising our free speech, kid. Dave's locked up because of you. Time to make things right, drop the charges, give up the land, and we'll leave you alone." I was furious. "You mean the land that's legally mine? The one your pal tried to burn me out over? Get lost before I call the cops again." A few of them laughed, but one woman, I think Mike's wife, shouted, "You're destroying a family. Dave's kids are devastated. What kind of monster are you?" That's when things got physical. Mike shoved a sign into my car window, cracking the glass a bit, and another guy kicked my tire. I dialed 911 right there, staying in the car with doors locked. Cops showed up fast, must have been the increased patrols, and dispersed the crowd. They arrested Mike for vandalism over the window and issued warnings to the others for trespassing. But as they were leaving, Mike yelled over his shoulder, "This ain't over. We've got more friends than you think." My lawyer says this is gold for our case: organized harassment, potential conspiracy. We're filing for a broader restraining order against Dave's known associates. Insurance is covering the deck repairs and now the car window, but the stress is killing me. I've missed deadlines at work, and my boss is sympathetic but hinting I need to get it together. On a positive note, more neighbors are coming forward now. Mrs. Jenkins organized a little group chat for those of us sick of Dave's bullying. Turns out he's pulled similar stunts before, like claiming part of someone else's driveway years ago until they lawyered up. One guy even shared old emails where Dave threatened him over a shared tree. It's helping me feel less alone. Still, that phone call haunts me. Was it Mike? Someone else? I check the cameras obsessively now. Max has been a champ, but even he's worn out. Am I the asshole for pressing charges on the protesters too, or is that overkill? I just want my peaceful life back. Final update. Phew, everyone, it's over. Or at least, the main storm has passed. It's been 2 weeks since the protest fiasco, and things have finally simmered down to a resolution, though not without one last twist that left me reeling. First, the court stuff. Dave's lawsuit got thrown out completely. The judge reviewed all the evidence, my surveys, the vandalism reports, the arson attempt, and ruled in my favor. Not only that, but in our countersuit, we won big. Dave has to pay for all my legal fees, the property damages to my deck, garden, and car, and $10,000 in emotional distress. His adverse possession claim was laughed out of court since he couldn't prove any long-term use, and the judge called it frivolous. Dave's still in jail awaiting trial for the arson charges, and his son is in a juvenile diversion program, community service and counseling instead of charges, but only if he testifies against his dad. His wife tried one last plea, showing up at my door with cookies, yeah, really, and a sob story about how they're facing foreclosure without Dave's income. Please, talk to your lawyer. We can settle privately. I politely declined and reminded her of the restraining order we're pursuing. She left in tears, but I heard from Mrs. Jenkins that the family's packing up. Apparently, they're selling the house to cover bail and legal costs. Good riddance. The neighborhood fallout? The protest group scattered after the arrests. Mike got probation for the vandalism and a no-contact order with me. A few others apologized anonymously via notes in my mailbox, saying they got caught up in Dave's lies. The supportive neighbors threw a little block party without the Dave crew, and we all swapped stories. Turns out Dave had been stirring up drama for years, pitting people against each other over petty stuff like parking spots and noise complaints. With him gone, the vibe's already better, people are waving again, and someone even offered to help rebuild my garden. But here's the cliffhanger that still gives me chills. Yesterday, as I was walking Max, I found a small package on my porch. No label, just a plain box. Inside? A broken tape measure, like the one Dave used that first day, and a note, property lines can change. Watch your back. No signature, but the handwriting looked familiar. Maybe Mike's? Or one of the others? I turned it over to the police, and they're investigating it as a threat. Cameras didn't catch who left it, must have been sneaky. My lawyer says it's harassment, and we're adding it to the file. I've got the gun, the cameras, and now a home security system with alarms tied to the cops. Max is my early warning system, and I've started self-defense classes. Is this the end, or just the beginning of something new? Dave might be out soon if he makes bail, and his friends are still around. I'm not moving, this is my home, damn it, but I'm always looking over my shoulder. Thanks for the support, everyone. If anything else happens, you'll be the first to know. Stay safe out there. Second story. My family abandoned me when I needed them most, but now that I've inherited Grandma's fortune, they're demanding their fair share and threatening to sue me over a fake will. Hey everyone, I'm a 28-year-old woman who never imagined I'd be sharing my life story online, but here I am. My world has turned into a soap opera nightmare, and I need to vent, or maybe get some advice, because I'm losing it. Let me take you back to the beginning. This mess has been brewing for years, and it's all about money, betrayal, and family drama so intense it makes you wonder if blood ties mean anything at all. Growing up, my family was, well, complicated. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. There's my brother Mark, who's 32, my sister Lisa, who's 30, and then me. Our parents, Dad at 58 and Mom at 56, are still together, but they've always played favorites. Mark was the golden boy, the one who could do no wrong. He got a new car at 16, a college fund he actually used, the works. Lisa was the princess, always bailed out of her messes, like when she totaled her car joyriding, and Mom just bought her a new one. And me? I was the afterthought, the oops baby, as Mom would joke. Except it never felt like a joke. We weren't rich, just comfortable middle-class folks in the suburbs. That changed when Grandma, Dad's mom, became a bigger part of our lives. She was loaded, with old money from her late husband's business investments. She lived in a massive house on acres of land, with stocks, properties, the whole deal. But she was always kind to me, maybe because I was the only one who visited her without expecting anything in return. Mark and Lisa would show up for holidays, grumble about the drive, and leave early. I'd stay for entire weekends, helping her garden and listening to her stories. Then, when I was 18, my life fell apart. I was in a horrific car accident, not my fault. A drunk driver T-boned me, leaving me with a shattered leg, months of rehab, and medical bills that wiped out my college savings. My parents helped a little at first, but soon Mom sat me down and said, "Honey, we can't keep paying for all this. Mark's starting a business, and Lisa's wedding is coming up. You understand, right? Understand?" I was bedridden, in constant pain, and they basically told me to figure it out on my own. That's when Grandma stepped in like a guardian angel. She paid for my treatments, my physical therapy, and even let me recover in her guest house so I wouldn't stress about rent. She became my rock. My family, though? They distanced themselves. Mark called occasionally, but only to ask if Grandma had mentioned him in her will, sleazy stuff like that. Lisa sent a card once, and that was it. Dad visited Grandma a few times, but it felt like he was checking on his future inheritance, not on me. Over the next few years, I got better, at least physically. I worked odd jobs, attended community college part-time, and took care of Grandma as she aged. She developed dementia, and I was there for everything, doctor's appointments, managing her meds, cooking, you name it. My family knew, but they didn't lift a finger. "We're busy," Mom would say. Mark has kids now, Lisa's career is taking off. Always excuses. Last year, Grandma passed away peacefully in her sleep. It broke me. I was the one holding her hand at the end. The funeral was a farce. My family showed up in fancy clothes, shedding crocodile tears, talking about how much they loved her. Mark even gave a speech about family bonds. I wanted to scream. Then came the will reading. Grandma's lawyer called us all in. I was nervous, figuring she'd left something for everyone. I was wrong. She left everything to me: the house, the land, the investments, a trust fund worth millions. There were small bequests to charities and distant relatives, but for my immediate family? Nothing. Not a dime. The lawyer read a letter from Grandma, to my dear granddaughter, who showed me true love and care when others forgot. You've earned this. To the rest of my family, actions speak louder than words. You reap what you sow. Chaos erupted. Mom started wailing, "This can't be right." She promised me the jewelry. Dad turned red-faced, muttering about contesting it. Mark slammed his fist on the table and shouted, "You manipulated her. You were always there," whispering in her ear. Lisa just glared at me like I'd stolen her puppy. I was in shock, trying to process that Grandma had seen through them all along. I left that meeting and checked into a hotel because I didn't feel safe going home. The next day, the call started. "Mom, sweetie, we need to talk. This isn't fair. Grandma wasn't in her right mind." "Dad, you're being selfish. Family shares." "Mark, I have kids, a mortgage. You don't even have a family. Give me half, or at least the land to develop." "Lisa, you owe us. We raised you." "Raised me?" "They kicked me to the curb when I was hurt. I blocked them all for a week, but then the emails came." Mark sent one with proof that Grandma had changed her will years ago, leaving stuff to him, but I'd influenced her to revise it. It was a scanned document that looked fake, wrong dates, signatures off. I showed it to the lawyer, who laughed and said it was clearly forged. That's when things escalated. 2 weeks after the reading, I got a letter from their lawyer, some shady guy Mark knows, saying they're contesting the will on grounds of undue influence and claiming Grandma lacked capacity. They're accusing me of isolating her, manipulating her into cutting them out. Mom even told mutual friends I'm a greedy leech who took advantage of a sick old woman. I'm terrified. I've got the inheritance, but it's tied up in probate now because of this contest. I can't access most of it, and legal fees are eating into what I can. I'm living in Grandma's house, but last night, Mark drove by and yelled from his car, "This isn't over. You'll regret this." Lisa posted on Facebook about toxic family members stealing inheritances, clearly targeting me. Am I the asshole for not sharing? Part of me feels guilty. They are family, and Grandma's decision was harsh. But they abandoned me when I needed them most. Now they want what I earned through years of care. What do I do? My lawyers say I have a strong case, but this could drag on. Has anyone dealt with something like this? Update 1, 2 weeks later. Hey everyone, I'm back. I posted a couple of weeks ago about my family trying to contest Grandma's will after she left everything to me. Thanks for all the advice. Many of you told me to lawyer up hard, document everything, and not engage. I've done just that, and holy crap, things have gotten even crazier. First, I hired an estate lawyer, a real shark who specializes in contested wills. She reviewed everything and said their case is weak. Grandma's will was updated 2 years ago with witnesses, a doctor's note confirming her mental capacity, and even a video where Grandma clearly explains her decisions. No undue influence here, my lawyer said. This is spite, pure and simple. But my family isn't backing down. Last week, Mom called me sobbing. How could you do this to us? We're your blood. Grandma would want us to be taken care of. I stayed calm, as you guys suggested, and replied, Mom, Grandma's letter was clear. She saw how you treated me. She flipped out. Treated you? We gave you everything. That accident was your fault for driving late. Wait, what? I wasn't even driving, I was a passenger. She's rewriting history now. Then Dad got involved. He showed up at the house unannounced, banging on the door. Open up. We need to talk like adults. I didn't let him in. Instead, I called the cops, who escorted him off the property. He left screaming, "You'll see. We have proof you forged the will." Proof? Their so-called proof is that fake document Mark sent. Speaking of Mark, he's escalated big time. I found out through a cousin that he's been telling everyone I stole the inheritance by brainwashing Grandma. He even contacted Grandma's old friends, asking for statements that she was confused in her last years. One friend called me laughing. She said Mark offered her $500 to lie, but she told him to shove it and is willing to testify for me. Lisa's the sneakiest of them all. She messaged me pretending to be on my side. Sis, I get why you're mad, but let's meet and talk. Maybe we can split it fairly. I ignored it, but then she showed up at my work. I have a part-time job at a bookstore while sorting this out. She cornered me in the break room. Come on, be reasonable. Give me the jewelry collection at least. Mom promised it to me. I told her to leave, but she caused a scene, crying about how I'm destroying the family. My boss had to ask her to go. The worst part? They're draining me financially. The lawsuit means I can't sell anything or access the full trust yet. I'm dipping into savings for lawyer fees, and it's stressing me out. My lawyer filed for a dismissal, but the hearing is in a month. In the meantime, Mark's wife, my sister-in-law, posted a GoFundMe for legal fees to fight inheritance theft, indirectly naming me. It raised about $2,000 before I reported it. I'm not sleeping, guys. Every noise at night makes me jump, thinking it's them trying something. Am I the asshole for fighting this? Or should I just give them something to make it stop? I feel like I'm living in a thriller movie. Update 2, 1 month later. I'm back with more insanity from this inheritance saga. Last time, my family was ramping up their contest, and I was lawyered up. The hearing finally happened, and it was a circus, but not in the way I expected. Buckle up, because this revealed betrayals I never saw coming. The court date was tense. My family showed up with their cheap lawyer, looking smug. Mom was dabbing her eyes with a tissue, Dad was glaring, and Mark was whispering to Lisa. My lawyer presented the evidence, the will, the video, medical records, and witnesses who confirmed Grandma was lucid and firm in her decisions. Their lawyer brought out that earlier will Mark had, the one I thought was fake. Turns out, it was fake, but here's the twist, it wasn't Mark who forged it. During cross-examination, their lawyer admitted it was provided by the family, but when pressed, Mark threw Dad under the bus. Dad gave it to me. He said Grandma signed it years ago. Dad denied it, yelling, "You liar. You made that up to get more for yourself." The judge wasn't amused. She called a recess, and in the hallway, it all exploded. Mom turned on Dad. "You told me you had a real copy. Was this all a lie?" Dad stammered, I thought it would help. I altered the dates a bit." Altered? He admitted to forging it right there. Mark lunged at him, screaming, "You idiot. Now we're screwed." Lisa just stood there, pale, muttering, "This is your fault, all of you." The judge dismissed their contest on the spot for lack of merit and frivolous filing. She even suggested sanctions for the forgery, possible fraud charges. My family scattered like roaches, but not before Mom cornered me outside. "Please, don't press this. We're family." We were desperate. Desperate? They tried to steal from me. But here's the betrayal bombshell. While this was going on, my lawyer discovered something else. During discovery, we got bank records. Turns out, over the years, Dad had been borrowing from Grandma without her knowledge, small loans from her accounts that he never repaid, totaling over $100,000. Grandma knew about some, but not all, and that's why she cut him out. Mark knew and helped cover it up, promising to pay Dad back with his share of the inheritance. Lisa? She was in on it too. Emails showed her begging Dad for money for her lifestyle, knowing it came from Grandma. They all thought I'd never find out, that I'd cave and share. I'm free now, the will is probated, the inheritance is mine. But the DA is looking into the forgery and embezzlement. Dad called me begging, "Don't let them charge me. I'll go to jail." Mark texted, "Sis, we can work this out. Give me $500,000, and I'll drop everything." Lisa showed up at my door crying, "I didn't know about the forgery. Please, I need help with my debts." I'm torn. Part of me wants justice, but they're family. Am I the asshole for considering pressing charges? Or should I let it go for peace? The money is great, but this betrayal cuts deep. Update 3, 3 months later. Hey everyone, I haven't posted in a bit because things got intense after the last update. The will contest was dismissed, betrayals were exposed, and now the legal fallout is hitting my family hard. But just when I thought it was over, a new twist has me questioning everything. This is long, but I need to get it out. After the hearing, I decided to pursue charges. My lawyer connected me with the DA, who reviewed the evidence. Dad's forgery and embezzlement? Criminal. They charged him with fraud and theft. Mark got hit with conspiracy because of emails showing he helped hide the loans. Lisa skated on charges but got subpoenaed as a witness. The family imploded. Mom left Dad, packed her bags and moved in with Lisa, screaming at him, "You ruined us. All for your greed." Dad called me daily, alternating between begging and blaming, "This is your fault. If you'd shared, none of this would have happened." I recorded everything for my lawyer. Mark's marriage is crumbling. His wife found out about the GoFundMe lies and the hidden debts. He'd been using grandma's loans for his failing business. She kicked him out, and now he's crashing on friends' couches, texting me sob stories. I have kids, sis. Have a heart. Loan me $50,000 to get back on my feet. Loan? After trying to sue me? Lisa tried playing peacemaker at first. She invited me to coffee. Let's put this behind us. Mom's a mess, Dad's depressed. We can split the inheritance quietly. I laughed in her face. Split? After you all betrayed Grandma and me? She broke down. Okay, fine, I knew about the money Dad took. But I needed it. My husband's job sucks, we have bills. Excuses, always excuses. I used some of the inheritance to secure the house, new locks, a security system, even a fence. Good thing, because 2 weeks ago, Mark tried to break in. I was out, but the cameras caught him jimmying a window. He didn't get in, but police arrested him for attempted burglary. In custody, he confessed, I just wanted to look for valuables. She owes me. That was the last straw. I got a restraining order against all of them. Mom's response? A letter, you've destroyed this family. Grandma would be ashamed, would she? Grandma left me everything because she saw their true colors. With the money, I've started healing. I quit my part-time job, enrolled in a full degree program. Grandma always wanted me to finish college, and even donated to charities in her name. It feels good, but lonely. I have no family left, really. But here's the cliffhanger that's got me reeling. Yesterday, I got a call from a lawyer I don't know. He represents a previously unknown beneficiary who claims Grandma had another will, hidden away, that supersedes mine. He won't say who, but hinted it's someone close. Prepare for another contest, he said. This one's airtight. What? Grandma didn't have secrets like that. Or did she? I've been digging through her old papers, and I found a locked box in the attic with letters addressed to me. I haven't opened them yet, I'm too scared. Is there a half-sibling? A secret child? Or is this another family trick? My lawyer's on it, but I'm shaking. If this is real, everything changes. What do I do now? Update 4, 1 week later. I'm still reeling from that lawyer's call in my last update. Some mystery beneficiary with a supposed hidden will that's gonna blow everything up. You guys flooded my inbox with theories, secret love child, long lost relative, or just another scam from my family. I was a mess, staring at that locked box in the attic like it was a bomb. My lawyer told me to sit tight, not touch anything until she could review it, but I couldn't wait. I needed answers. So, yeah, I opened it. And holy crap, what I found has turned this nightmare into something even darker. The box was full of old letters, photos, and documents, stuff Grandma must have hidden away for years. There were letters from her to me, dated back to when I was a kid, talking about how proud she was of me, how she saw the way my family treated me like the spare tire. But then there were other letters. From Dad. Begging letters, promising to pay back money he'd borrowed, swearing it was the last time. One even said, Mom, if you don't help, the family falls apart. Think of the grandkids. It made my stomach turn. Proof of even more embezzlement than we knew. But the real gut punch? A birth certificate and adoption papers. Not for me, but for a baby girl given up in 1965, Grandma's baby, before she married Grandpa. The letters explained it. She was young, unwed, forced by her parents to give the baby up. She never told anyone, not even Dad. There were recent letters too, from a woman named Elena, now 58, claiming to be that daughter. She'd tracked Grandma down 5 years ago through DNA testing. Grandma had met her secretly, confirmed it, but kept it quiet because the family would tear her apart for the money. Elena's letters were heartbreaking. I just want to know my mother, not take anything. But Grandma's responses were cautious. I've provided for you in my way. Please understand. Turns out, Grandma had set up a separate trust for Elena, small but significant, about $200,000, funded quietly years ago. But Elena's name wasn't in the main will because Grandma feared my family would contest it or harass her. I called my lawyer immediately, hands shaking. This is real, she said after reviewing scans. But it's not a threat to your inheritance. The hidden will is probably Elena trying to claim more, or maybe just connect. The mystery lawyer? Hired by Elena, who wants a meeting. She says she's not contesting, but wants to talk about family secrets. I agreed to meet her, but with my lawyer present, at a neutral spot, a coffee shop downtown. Elena showed up looking like an older version of Grandma, same eyes, same gentle smile. She hugged me before I could react, Tears streaming, "You're my niece. I've waited so long to meet you." Niece? It hit me then, this woman is my aunt. We talked for hours. She explained finding Grandma through Ancestry, their secret meetings. Grandma had shared stories about me, called me her saving grace. Elena knew about the inheritance drama too. Grandma had warned her about my family's greed. But here's the betrayal twist. Elena admitted she'd been contacted by Mark. Yeah, my brother. Somehow, he'd found out about her, maybe snooping in Grandma's stuff years ago? And reached out after the will reading. He offered me a deal, she said, voice trembling. Help him contest the will by claiming I was cut out unfairly, and he'd split whatever we got with me. Said you didn't deserve it, that you manipulated her. Mark had promised her $500,000 if she played along. She refused at first, but after Grandma died, she got scared and hired that lawyer to protect her interests. I was furious. He used you? That snake. Elena nodded, crying, I didn't want to hurt you. Grandma left me enough, but Mark kept calling, saying the family needed it more. I almost fell for it. She showed me texts from him. Come on, and Elena, if that's even true, let's take her down. She's hoarding it all. And Elena? He didn't even believe her claim but was willing to exploit it. We bonded over it, weirdly. Elena's not contesting anything now, she's dropping the lawyer and just wants a relationship. I lost my mom before I could really know her, she said. Don't let them take that from us. It felt good? Like Grandma gave me one last gift, a real family member who isn't toxic. But now I'm dealing with the fallout. I forwarded those texts to the DA, and Mark's charges just got upgraded, now including witness tampering or something. He's freaking out, left voicemails, you bitch. That was private. You'll pay for this. The restraining order holds, though. Dad's trial is coming up, and Mom's begging me through Lisa, drop the charges, for Elena's sake. She's family now, right? Am I the asshole for using this against them? Or is this finally justice? Elena and I are planning to scatter some of Grandma's ashes together, it feels like closure. But with Mark's scheming exposed, I wonder what else is lurking. Update 5, 2 months later. I thought the last update would be the end, the mystery aunt, Mark's betrayal, some semblance of peace. But nope, this inheritance drama just keeps unraveling like a bad sweater. The past 2 months have been a whirlwind of court dates, family explosions, and revelations that make me question if Grandma planned all this from beyond the grave. It's exhausting, but I'm finally seeing the end. Or at least a resolution that doesn't leave me looking over my shoulder. First, the legal stuff wrapped up. Dad's trial was quick, he pled guilty to reduced charges of fraud and embezzlement to avoid jail time. He got probation, community service, and has to repay what he can, which is basically nothing since he's broke. He showed up at the sentencing all remorseful, I was desperate, Your Honor. My mother's death broke me. The judge wasn't buying it, especially with the forgery evidence. Mom was there, stone-faced, and afterward, she cornered me in the hallway, happy now? You've ruined your father. He might have a heart attack from the stress. I shot back, he ruined himself, Mom. And you enabled it. She slapped me, right there in the courthouse. Security escorted her out, and I added assault to the restraining order. Mark's in deeper trouble. With the tampering charge from contacting Elena, plus the attempted burglary, he couldn't plea down. He's looking at 2 to 5 years, and his wife is divorcing him, taking the kids. He called from jail, how, I don't know, sis, please. Bail me out. I'll disappear, you'll never hear from me again. I hung up. Lisa? She's gone radio silent after testifying against them to save her own skin. Last I heard, she's moving across the country with Mom, starting over. We don't need your blood money, she texted before blocking me. Elena and I have been getting closer. We opened more of Grandma's letters together, turns out, Grandma knew about Mark's snooping. One letter said, if they find Elena, protect her. She's the daughter I couldn't keep, and you're the one I chose. We scattered the ashes at Grandma's favorite garden spot on her property. Elena cried, she wanted us to find each other. It's weird, but healing. She's not after money, she's helping me manage the estate, even invested some of her trust into a joint charity fund in Grandma's name for adoption support. But the final twist? Digging deeper into Grandma's papers, we found she had amended her will one last time, 6 months before she died. It wasn't hidden, it was filed privately with her lawyer, to be revealed only if the family contested. It included a clause, if anyone challenges the will, they forfeit any future claims forever, and a portion goes to Elena explicitly. My family triggered it without knowing. My lawyer laughed, your grandma was a genius. She predicted this. So, resolution? The inheritance is fully mine, probate closed, no more contests. I've sold some land for security, invested wisely, and I'm finishing my degree. Elena's like the aunt I never had, we're planning a trip to trace Grandma's roots. Family? They're scattered, broken, and out of my life. Part of me feels guilty, like maybe I should have shared a little for peace. But Grandma's words echo, you reap what you sow. Am I the asshole for letting it all burn? Or did they deserve it? Thanks for following this saga, everyone. If there's one more update, it'll be from a beach somewhere, living my best life. Wait, cliffhanger alert, just got a letter from an unknown sender. You think it's over? Grandma had more secrets. Meet me or regret it. Is this another relative? Or Mark pulling strings from jail? My lawyer's investigating, but, what now?